Hey everybody, Zyle here, back with another controversy for our beloved Palworld. Sold 7 million copies for the last 5 days. Great success, really fun game. Enjoyed it so much. So finally, what a lot of us anticipated happening is Pokemon, the actual company behind Pokemon, is saying that it intends to investigate Palworld. So we have the news article from TechCrunch here that just dropped maybe 5 hours ago. Pokemon Company said Thursday it has not granted any permission to another company, referring to viral new game Palworld developer Pocket Pair, to use Pokemon IP or assets, and intends to investigate and take appropriate measures against the fast-growing survival game operator. Okay, so the statement is Pokemon's first acknowledgement of the fast-growing title, which sold now 8 million copies in less than 6 days, exceeding the performance of even the most popular AAA titles, which I think is the main point here, which has got all the AAA publishers very butthurt over Palworld's success. We know that there are similarities. We know that Palworld was inspired by Pokemon. That's very clear. Is it a direct ripoff? Is there IP theft? I'm sorry, I don't believe so. Yeah, people flock to Palworld because Pokemon has failed for years and years and years to give us a good Pokemon style game. Again, just the same thing. One statement. Literally one statement. We tend to investigate and take the appropriate measures, etc., etc. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon in its world to work and bring together. Well, really, that's such little information. They've made one statement about our game, and honestly, they can investigate it all they want. If they want to sue them over the similarities of the pals, that's their right to do, and it'll be up to a court and judges to decide if there's IP theft or not. I really don't believe there is. So another aspect to this too is if you look at some of the comparisons, and we'll look at that in a minute, is let's look at Dragon Quest, which came out years before Pokemon. And the same could be said related to Pokemon and Dragon Quest. You start looking at these images, and they're not the same, but they're close enough that the argument being used against Palworld and Pokemon is quite similar. Yep, Blue Dragon, Blue Dragon. Are they the same? Did they steal this? No. Blue dragons are things, and they generally look like this. This thing versus this thing. Similar, but not similar enough to really lay claim. We get a lot of this where, honestly, Pokemon, their images look worse than what Dragon Quest was doing. But you can say, like, oh yeah, here's a crab, and they have a crab. Yeah, but there's crabs, okay? Crabs look like crabs. There's a dragon. They have a dragon. They don't look anything alike. It's the same with the Palworld stuff, and we'll look at that next. Okay, so here's one of the Cecilia Fay had made this post a few days ago, January 22nd, 3 days ago, trying to draw the comparisons between Pokemon characters are on the right side and Palworld characters on the left side. So we can look at this one and look at this one, and they're trying to claim that this character here is a ripoff of this. Don't think so. Completely different collar. This one has an ear. This one really does not. Face is different, right down to the way the mouth and nose is drawn. Yes, they both have a pointed down hood here, but it's not similar enough. Outfit's different. Leggings are different. Inspired, I'll give you that. IP theft, nope. Here, this is standing on its two legs upright, has horns, and softed ears. The only similarity is the eyes and the mouth. Pretty much everything else about this character is different. Again, inspired, you could say so. IP theft, no. These two things, while similar, just as a serpent, not similar enough where you can say they copied this and put it in their game to where it's IP theft. Again, with IP theft, you have to be directly ripping off the assets, not simply getting inspiration and then using something that exists in many games, serpent-like creatures, and saying it's a copy. If the IP theft was something really that they were going to be going with, it would be more along the lines of they copied how Pokemon functions and put it in their game. All the systems were copied. The characters were copied. In other words, they just literally released Pokemon, but called it with different names. Not that they had some inspiration or some characters could be side by side. You could make a small claim that they look similar. They're not ripoffs. The same thing here. Yes, there's similarities. Is this a copy of this? No, it's not. You could go through 1,000 games that are out there and find a character that would look like this in a video game, then say, oh, it kind of looks like this guy. And the other thing would be is, does this character in the game have the same lore, naming, and functionality system-wise as to what this one does? And I will say, no, it does not. These aren't even close. This is a stretch, not even close. Similar. But when you're making this amount of characters from one game to other, you're going to be able to slightly match stuff up of any game. You could do this. Not close enough. I don't even know what this is or what this is supposed to be saying. That this is somehow a copy of this? No, it's not. What? Other than the fin, which fish have, this is not a copy. These things are nothing alike. So they made a hedgehog, and they did a better job than Pokemon ever did. Completely different. There's literally nothing about this and this that are the same, other than perhaps the nose and the smile. But hedgehogs are hedgehogs in existing games, and this is not a copy. This is supposed to be a copy of this? No, this is a cat-like creature. This is a cat-like creature. They're fundamentally different in every way, shape, and form. So they had a sheep. We had a cute, lovable sheep. Their sheep has dreads. It does not. What are the similarities here? The face? Nope. The horns? The horns aren't even similar. The hair, the fluffiness, it's literally how you draw a cartoon sheep. If they have a claim here, then they can go and sue like cartoons that have existed for the last couple of years that have used lovable sheep. Children's coloring books will have sheep like this. This one is probably one of the ones where when I looked at it, I said, yeah, it's kind of close. But when you consider that this is supposed to be some kind of feline lion type creature, let's then start looking at it a little bit closer to see, is this a copy or inspiration? The only real similarity is the way that this nose face part looks and the way the eyes are drawn. This one could have been definitely inspired by it. But overall, I think they've changed it enough that it's not a copy. This one is, similar, but not similar enough. And it's like, it's really not even close. Wolves are wolves. And this wolf is not a copy of this wolf. People draw wolves all the time, and this is how a wolf looks. And this is how a skinny wolf looks. But again, copied? No. There's just not enough elements that you can say it was copied. Toucan. So what, is Pokemon going to go and sue the guys who make the cereal that has a toucan Sam on it? This is not even close. This looks way better, first of all, than this, but these are not even close. Kind of an element, but again, if you're making a rabbit and you're trying to make it cute and fluffy that will appeal to that specific genre, they're not close enough. Really, there's too many. Even the ears. Look at how the ears are here. Look how the ears are here. Look how the eyes and face are. There's not enough where a judge will ever sit down and go, "Oh yeah, you guys just ripped this character off and put it in your game." Lightning is always represented as black and yellow. So you could take this character and say, oh, Pokemon, you copied that Christian rock band from the 80s called Striper because they used yellow and black and lightning bolts. And that's how close the similarity is. When you take this character and then say, this character is supposed to be a direct ripoff of this character, no, it's not. The only similarity, and it's not even close, would be the fact they both have lightning bolts. Well, that's, again, lightning. This symbol is used for lightning. The acid itself is not even close. They did a much better job of portraying a lightning bolt. The face is entirely different. The teeth are entirely different. The eyes are slightly similar. but it's not. When I look at this guy's face, I do not feel like I'm looking at the same character. So there's no claim there. Not even close, guys. These are two different creatures. You're just stretching. You're just trying to find anything that matches any of the Palworld images, put them in the frame together, and somehow call them the same. This here, what? They copied what? Three different things and made one creature, and they took all the elements in, and they don't even actually match any of the elements you're trying to showcase. Okay, whatever. It's, again, not close enough. No, again, there could be inspiration, but I'm sorry. This is not a copy. This is not an asset rip. What? Are you trying to tell me that this is a copy of this? Get out of here. It's ridiculous. So that's my thoughts. And this is one of the most popular, trying to compare it all up. And honestly, these are weak claims. And I don't know, Pokemon saying that they released a statement saying they're going to follow up and investigate this situation. I think they're just paying lip service to their rabid fan base that is in nothing but hate on Palworld's success, because they're all upset that Palworld delivered what Pokemon has failed to do. And Palworld is a little teeny development company compared to the massive powerhouse that Pokemon plus Nintendo is and should have been delivering if they wanted to have this kind of success. And they've had this kind of success with their games. It's because of the amount of marketing they spend. You know, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing their games. And they sell a lot of copies. But the success really is the fact that this game came out of nowhere, sold a massive amount of copies, and continues to do so. And they're missing the point. We're not playing this game because these characters slightly resemble Pokemon characters. That has nothing to do with it. We're playing this game because the gameplay loop is fun. And the game is fun. That's the end of it, is satisfying an urge in us that we want. 8 million people don't buy a game and play it. We're smashing the amount of players playing online at the same time. It smashes records like CSGO for that title being the number one most played game in the history of Steam. That's not because they copied Pokemon, right? If they had done that, people wouldn't be playing this game. They'd call it a Pokemon ripoff and they'd move on. People would not be playing this game if all they did was just copy Pokemon, okay? Now, they delivered something completely fresh, innovative, and that has got gameplay loops that we like and we enjoy, and it's a lot of fun. And that's why it's selling so well, and that's why people are playing it. And it's not because there's some similarities to Pokemon. It's really the main similarity you could draw down between the two games is that some of the characters are cute and lovable, similar like Pokemon's are, but the other main one is you get to collect them. You're going out and collecting these things, but that's where the similarities end. And Pokemon, those games are not delivering the same gaming experience that Palworld is, and that's where they would have. Where Pokemon would have a true claim on IP theft is if that's what this company had done. If they'd gone and basically copied the game itself, all the systems and how the creatures work, if that had all been a direct rip, along with the similarities in the Pals versus Pokemons, then maybe they would have a claim that, hey, you just copied our game. But that happens all the time as well. MOBAs get copied. You know, Blizzard released Heroes of the Storm, which copied Dota, right, as a MOBA battler. League of Legends, again, inspired, but not direct ripoffs. Okay? Blizzard does this all the time. It goes and looks at something that's popular and then makes a game that's similar to it. Magic the Gathering versus Hearthstone, right? Would we then say that Hearthstone stole Magic the Gathering's IP? No, because it's different. The game functions different. They didn't outright copy those systems. And that's the same thing we have here. So final thoughts on this is, yeah, Pokemon, Nintendo, you can investigate all you want, but you're not going to have a lawsuit. All you're going to do is waste a bunch of money trying to sue Palworld. And luckily, Palworld now has a whole bunch of money to fight back if they have to. You're not going to be able to use your dollars to shut down yet another small game studio like you've done in the past. I think that the reason that Pokemon is investigating Palworld probably is from the standpoint that they're considering buying Palworld and then using that as a new way to grow their IP. That's what big companies do. They see something that's super successful early on and recognize that the IP behind it can actually be marketed to a greater extent. So they may be investigating it, the claims, and making a statement to keep their fanboys happy. But at the same time, they may be looking at acquiring Palworld so that they can own the IP and utilize it going forward, even as a game platform. As you can imagine, if they took all the Pokemon characters and then used the Palworld engine in game and combined that together, they'd have a runaway hit. Because clearly people are playing the game because of the gameplay loops, not because it copied Pokemon, because it did not. Anyways, those are my thoughts on this whole scandal that's brewing. I'm sure there's going to be lots of videos out today about the titles will read, probably like my video here is going to read, Pokemon is going to sue Palworld. That's not what the article says. The article literally says, we are investigating the situation. That being said, hope you enjoyed my thoughts. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.